The 16 BRICS Summit, held in an expanded format, brought together leaders from the original BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, as well as newly invited countries like Iran, Egypt, the UAE, and Ethiopia. The summit took place against a backdrop of significant global challenges, including economic instability, geopolitical tensions, and the ongoing impacts of climate change. With the addition of new members, the BRICS group has further solidified its status as a leading voice for the Global South, representing nearly half of the world's population and a substantial portion of global economic activity. The discussions at the summit reflected a strong commitment to reshaping the global economic and political order in favor of a more equitable and multipolar world. A central theme of the summit was the resilience of the BRICS economies amid global economic turbulence. The leaders noted that, despite the challenging economic environment marked by inflation, supply chain disruptions, sanctions, and growing debt burdens, the BRICS countries have shown robust economic stability. They expect their economies to grow at a faster pace compared to the global average in the coming years. President Vladimir Putin of Russia highlighted that global economic activity is shifting toward developing markets, and the BRICS nations are at the forefront of this transition. He pointed out that a new wave of economic growth is being driven by the Global South and East, with the BRICS economies playing a pivotal role in this emerging multipolar model. The summit emphasized the need to deepen cooperation across various sectors to maximize the economic potential of BRICS countries and to capitalize on the new wave of global growth. The key areas identified for enhanced collaboration included technology, education, resource development, trade, and finance. There was a proposal to establish a new BRICS investment platform aimed at supporting national economies within the group and providing financial resources to countries in the Global South and East. The goal is to create a mechanism that not only bolsters economic growth within BRICS, but also strengthens the financial stability of developing nations. International trade and financial system reform were also major points of discussion. BRICS leaders underscored the necessity of reforming the international financial architecture to better reflect the interests of emerging economies and reduce reliance on the U.S. dollar. There was widespread recognition that the current system, dominated by Western financial institutions, often imposes constraints on developing countries. Several leaders advocated for increasing the use of national currencies in international trade and financial transactions to mitigate the risks associated with currency volatility and sanctions. The idea of creating a new mechanism for cross-border payments within BRICS was also explored, aiming to facilitate trade and investment without dependence on Western financial infrastructure. Climate change and sustainable development emerged as critical issues, with discussions focusing on how BRICS nations can lead the transition towards a low-carbon economy while ensuring that climate policies do not become tools for protectionism or unfair competition. The leaders expressed a shared commitment to advancing green industries, clean energy projects, and sustainable resource management. There were proposals for the BRICS countries to establish partnerships for carbon markets, launch climate research platforms, and strengthen cooperation in environmental technologies. The group also addressed the need for financial and technological support to help developing nations achieve their climate goals without compromising economic growth. Health cooperation was another focal point, with the summit building on the lessons learned from the COVID-19 pandemic. BRICS leaders discussed initiatives to bolster public health infrastructure, including the establishment of a joint early warning system for infectious diseases and collaboration on nuclear medicine. There was a particular emphasis on expanding vaccine research and production capabilities across BRICS countries to enhance health security. India, with its strong digital health infrastructure, offered to share its expertise in this field, suggesting the development of a digital health network for BRICS. The summit did not overlook the cultural and humanitarian dimensions of BRICS cooperation. There was a strong push to enhance people-to-people exchanges through cultural programs, educational partnerships, and sports events. These initiatives aim to strengthen the cultural ties among BRICS nations and foster mutual understanding. The establishment of new educational and research institutions was also discussed, including the creation of BRICS-focused research centers in areas such as artificial intelligence, digital technologies, and sustainable development. On the geopolitical front, the leaders acknowledged the ongoing conflicts and crises that continue to threaten global stability. There was a consensus on the need for BRICS to play a more active role in promoting peace and security, particularly in regions like the Middle East and Africa. The ongoing war in Ukraine and the escalating conflict in the Middle East were of particular concern, with BRICS leaders calling for diplomatic efforts to resolve these disputes and prevent further humanitarian crises. The group's expansion was seen as an opportunity to give a stronger voice to the Global South in international forums, pushing for reforms in institutions like the United Nations Security Council to reflect the realities of the 21st century. The newly expanded BRICS bloc also discussed strategies for addressing food security and tackling the divide between the global North and South. With many member states being major agricultural producers, there were proposals to create a BRICS grain exchange to stabilize food prices and ensure food security. The idea is to develop fair and predictable pricing indicators for agricultural commodities that can help prevent artificial shortages and reduce vulnerability to global market fluctuations. This proposal fits within the broader strategy of enhancing BRICS' role in ensuring global food and energy security. The new development bank, NDB, often referred to as the BRICS Bank, was a central topic at the summit. The bank's president, Dilma Rousseff, highlighted the NDB's progress in financing infrastructure projects across member countries, including new initiatives in clean energy, water sanitation, transportation, and digital infrastructure. The bank has also been actively working on diversifying its sources of funding by issuing bonds in local currencies, which aligns with the BRICS strategy to reduce dependence on the US dollar. There were discussions on expanding the NDB's membership and strengthening its capacity to support development projects in other developing nations. Throughout the summit, the leaders reiterated their commitment to a multipolar world order where emerging economies have a greater voice in shaping international policies. The inclusion of new countries in BRICS was viewed as a strategic move to further enhance the group's global influence. By uniting a broader coalition of developing nations, BRICS aims to present a more formidable front in advocating for changes in global governance structures that have traditionally been dominated by Western powers. The 16 BRICS Summit was a demonstration of the group's determination to address shared challenges and seize opportunities for collective growth. The discussions highlighted a vision for a more inclusive and balanced international system, with BRICS countries positioned as leaders in driving global economic transformation. As the group continues to expand and deepen its cooperation, it seeks to build a future where economic development, technological progress, and environmental sustainability go hand in hand, setting a new standard for international collaboration. In my view, the 16 BRICS Summit demonstrated that the bloc is becoming an increasingly significant player on the global stage. The summit not only showcased the member countries' desire to reform the international order, but also highlighted their readiness to take on a more active role in addressing global challenges, such as economic instability, climate change, and political conflicts. The expansion of BRICS with new members like Iran, Egypt, the UAE, and others is a major step that significantly boosts the group's weight and importance. BRICS is no longer just an alliance of the largest emerging economies, it now represents nearly half of the world's population. This gives it greater leverage in global discussions and the ability to advocate for more equitable and inclusive policies. The addition of these new members strengthens BRICS' position as a voice for the global South and signals a shift towards a multipolar world where Western dominance is increasingly challenged. The summit also underscored the bloc's commitment to economic cooperation and resilience. The discussions around using national currencies for trade, reforming the global financial system, and establishing new mechanisms for cross-border payments show a clear strategy to reduce dependence on the US dollar and Western financial institutions. This move toward financial sovereignty reflects the group's desire for a more balanced global economic landscape. Furthermore, the emphasis on sustainable development and climate action indicates that BRICS aims to lead by example in transitioning to a low-carbon economy, but without allowing climate policies to be used as tools for economic competition. This approach reflects a pragmatic understanding of the challenges facing developing nations, which often struggle to balance growth with environmental concerns. Overall, the summit conveyed a strong message. BRICS is evolving from a primarily economic partnership into a comprehensive platform for global governance reform. The group is not just reacting to existing problems, it is actively shaping a new vision for the future, one where the voices of developing countries are not only heard but drive international decision-making. As BRICS continues to expand and deepen its cooperation, it has the potential to set new standards for global collaboration, making the world order more inclusive and representative of diverse interests.